Yeah. And I mean, pertaining to this podcast, it's directly on type 1 diabetics. It's not on like another autoimmune disease. This is
Mhm.
looking at type 1 diabetics.
Right. And so even, 13, I'm around a level 13 type 1 diabetic. I believe you are too, 13 years being diabetic. And even in the 2000s, they were saying how there's genetic, but there's this big environmental component. And part of this quest is say, what is that environmental component? And how does environment, not always what environment, but how does environment play a role in type 1 diabetes?
Yeah. Yeah. Because they highlighted in the intro here, and I think it's something I think everybody should take note of, and because it's really important, which is the observation that less than 10% of subjects with genetic susceptibility to this disease um, actually actually develop it. And so that kind of points at it's not a purely genetic thing. Yes,
Mhm.
genetics may play a bit of a role in it, but
Mhm.
ultimately, our environment and what we put into our body and all the things that our body has to handle is going to be affecting whether we're going to be developing this disease or not.
And yeah, that's why part of the rise in type 1 diabetes diagnosis is because there's something in the environment that's going on, or rather, us as individuals in the environment,
Mm-hmm.
which is what this is connecting. This article essentially in Leaky Gut Connects, um, and increases the frequency of that type 1 diabetes diagnosis. I mean, my first type 1 diabetic patient got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 69 years old.
Wow.
And unfortunately, he just like passed away a year or two ago. Not a year or two, like a week or two ago. I don't know why I said
Oh.
it. But he just passed away. I only had a few months working with him. But even in your 40s, 50s, 60s, because autoimmunity is rising, it's not a scary thing, but it's wow, what are we doing? How can we learn more and do more, right?
Mm-hmm.